What up, y'all? It's the greatest show on earth, the Tye Cooper Show. And right now, you locked in with Rebel Life TV.
Enough of the small talk. Shit has gotta change. This time it's gonna cost. Everybody can't go. It's really their own fault. Words can't express how I really prepared to be my own boss, so I gotta express it. For the peace at all costs, you gotta protect it. There's a message in the music Harvard could lecture. Still adjusting as a student and I'm as professor. I'm getting further off the fact that I'm trying to do better. Auntie Nadia told me I'm ahead of my time. And old soul setting tones in debt to the grind. Trying to step on what's mine is like stepping on mines. I got my head and the game and my neck on the line.
All right, today on Rebel Life TV, we got a special guest, Rhode Island artist, Tye Cooper. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Appreciate you having me. It's definitely the first time.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've been on Rebel Life.
For sure.
I've been a fan ever since, you know what I'm saying, the beginning. If I can recall, I was like 2015, maybe around that time.
But we always ran into each other and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I seen you doing, doing your thing in the whole circuit around here in Providence and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's about time we made this happen, though, man.
I appreciate it because there's so much to talk about. I didn't realize that even I feel like if we had did a interview at that time, you know, I'm referring to, maybe I would assume we would have had like a really dope interview to have.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, like I'm just thankful that, you know, I have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Leading up to now.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
good timing. We also have another guest too, guest host.
Oh.
Introduce yourself, you know?
Okay.
I'm Marissa. My @ is Marissa the MUA, and it's a pleasure to be here with Rebel Life, and a pleasure to be here with Tye Cooper.
Yes.
And let them know a little bit, like your role in the music scene.
I am just a lover of music. I love music. I've always loved music, and I especially love where I'm from. So I have a lot of experience outside of Rhode Island, but Rhode Island will always be home, and music will always be my life. So this is something that is awesome to even be a part of.
Let's get into it, though. You just dropped the album.
So I dropped the album. It's titled "Black Boys Deserve to Smile." I dropped it on 420.
Yeah.
I had somewhat of an album release party at a dispensary. Or a dispensary. We had an album release party over here. Black Boys Deserve to Smile, and we had like these little smoke boxes. I had like 20 of them. I was collaborating with these other curators in the scene, High Society, all right. And yeah, like we came together and made like a really dope experience, created a really dope experience to commemorate the project. And yeah, I even dropped 2 visuals leading up to it coming out, and the fireworks popping outside.
Right on time.
I love that.
Black Boy coming out.
It's coming up. But you know, it's a really cool album. I've been getting a lot of dope feedback from it. If you haven't heard it, Black Boys Deserve to Smile on all digital streaming platforms.
It's one of them
And
ones.
I recommend it that you listen to it. And, I'll be coming to a city near you to like perform it. Best believe that.
Fire content, and you're definitely in your own lane out there, you know?
And that's a beautiful thing because, man, I grew up idolizing a lot of the people that I happened to like have came across. So it's really dope that I always remained myself and was able to take from those that came before me respectfully from a creative sense. But as far as like me being myself and as you said, like being in like my own lane, I'm really happy that I could really just express myself without having to act like someone else or to like feel like I gotta make up for something that doesn't exist. Like, you know, very, very what the product shows, you know.
Yeah. And the album, the title, how'd you come up with that, and what made you, call it that?
The title "Black Boys Deserve to Smile" came from La Russell. Shout out to La Russell. He's a rapper from the Bay. Really dope independent artist doing his own thing and creating a space and just a existence with like independency and, you know, doing it your own way, and, you know, being able to bank from your your work based off of the work you putting in. Um, I think he had like tweeted it or like it was on Threads. I'm like really cool on Threads like ever since that came out. I think I seen something on Instagram where he like it was like a screenshot of a Twitter post that he put up, and it was like a sentence, and then the last part of it was like "Black boys deserve to smile," and that just resonated with me, and I was like, "Yo, let me sit on that pause, like to be like, all right, that might be like the title for like an album or like at least a song," and then I found an old picture, family photo when I was like probably 9. I was like maybe 8 in that picture on the album cover. Um, yeah, I found this old family photo with my brother, my sister, my uncle, my grandfather, and I was like, "Yo, this would be the perfect album cover." And Black Boys Deserve to Smile. Um, and at first, I was thinking like Black Boys Deserve to be Black Men. And I wanted to release it during like February, you know what I'm saying, Black History Month. So it didn't happen like that, you know. I ended up going to Austin, Texas in March, and I was like, you know, performing Wine and Cheese out there before it came out, just to test how it would sound and like how people would respond to it. And it was such a dope response. Like it was kind of like overwhelming a little bit, but yeah, it was such a dope rollout to release that whole
It's
thing.
an amazing album.
Such a dope
You
rollout.
put such a great body of work together from
Yeah.
beginning to end. It's extremely thoughtful,
Yeah.
and you can tell how much passion and how much time it took to make that record.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little, you know, I just had to like just wait for a lot of like business side of things to be taken care of. And it was just the like very simple, like very small things, but like things that I wanted to be done at a certain time.
Right.
And it just so happened it didn't work like that. And I understood because it gave me more time to like just write some more fire shit
Right,
and
right.
and even be intentional. Like when I wrote Wine and Cheese, I started it off kind of like how Q-Tip would. You know, my aunt always, anytime my aunt hears my music or like, you know, since I was a kid, she would be like, "Ty, you remind me of Q-Tip," you know? So like I wanted to pay homage to my auntie Nadia, which I also speak of her in the song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm paying homage to Q-Tip by saying something that he said on the song Scenario with Busta Rhymes. I said, "It's the silent mission and I got the goods here." He said the same thing, you know. Since I write with my left, my good hand. It's the same thing that Q-Tip said on a very relatively known song in the hip hop community. And like I wanted to start that off like how Q-Tip would and how my auntie Nadia would even like take note of it. And also, yeah, I just genuinely feel like everything connected like I was supposed to do shit.
You mentioned Q-Tip. Like, who were some of the artists that like inspired you when you were getting into rap?
Silk the Shocker, those guys from No Limit. I have to say that first because people always give Silk the Shocker flack. But I grew up listening to No Limit. My dad used to really like, you know, ride around listening to like Rough Riders. I got the, you know, Rough Riders tat. You know, my auntie Nadia got the same one. And like,
Wait.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, so, my dad used to listen to like, you know, like DMX and like, you know, Rough Riders and No Limit, Master P.
I love that.
I'm listening to Project. I'm related to like you know those that's involved with 3-6 Mafia. I have family from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
So like I grew up listening to like Project Pat, Juicy J,
me too,
like
me too.
3-6 Mafia and stuff like that. But yeah, like Shine, The Clips, Pharrell, like Nerd specifically, like Eminem, of course, like Andre 3000, a lot of Common, Kanye, like Nas, Jay-Z, like all the typical like Biggie, Tupac, like I listen to everything, like everything. Like it's
I
not
think that's
just
shown in your music.
it's not just one rapper. There could be like eras or just moments that I'm very, very like in tune with, and I'm like, oh, I can. I've even like found an identity, like, or even like learned something about myself, being so drawn to that, or just certain sounds, like, you know, who's that? Black Sheep. The choice is yours, like shit like that. Like people know that shit for the engine number 9 part of the song, but I'm talking about the entire song. And then when I see that shit, because I'm a movie person, when I see shit like that in like movies, when like certain songs come on at a certain time, that shit hits even more for me. So that got me even more in the department of like making music that can be synced and licensed in movies or like games and shit like that.
The bigger picture.
Yeah.
Where you from exactly?
I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. My family is like from Chad Brown and Smith Hill. Yeah.
And like talk about like Providence for the viewers that never been to Rhode Island, you know.
Providence is the smallest state on the map. For those that don't know, it is not registered in any sort or form or fashion to Long Island or Staten Island. Long Island, baby. But Rhode Island, I'm hailing from the capital of Rhode Island, the creative capital they call it, and I feel like there's a ghetto everywhere. There's a certain kind of like just way of like doing things out here that I'm not gonna like start off saying that it's ghetto, but like it's also like there's a luxurious side to Rhode Island. It's
There is.
There's a very luxurious side to Rhode Island, and then there's also the turn up side of Rhode Island that if you were not from here and you happened to come to like a party, whether it was downtown or like east side or like on the south, or regardless, like you would be speaking about it. You would be speaking about it for sure elsewhere or after that. But like, I grew up. I had a like dope childhood. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a household with 4 boys and 2 girls. My mom raised all of us. You know what I'm saying? And it was civil rivalry in the house. You know what I'm saying? Certain shit like that. But the aspect of being there for your siblings and like being respectful to women, and especially being raised by a woman, like my mom made sure that shit was instilled. But my dad was always around. My dad was in the street, of course, but respectfully, like he definitely was around and still present in a way where, like, his point that he would make with me and my brother Tye, to be like there for each other and like be men and be stand up men and not followers, be leaders, like type of motherfucker that would be like, I don't give a fuck, Tye. You get in trouble, you better put your desk in the corner. Get away from everybody. Turn around if you have to.
Yeah, we need more of that though.
Where are the fathers?
Yeah.
Where are the fathers?
Yeah. My dad was always on, like, on top of, like, especially, like, me making sure that I'd be, like, moist and shit, because I always had, like, eczema growing up since I was a kid, badly, like, and it gets crazy in the summer. But, like, I've learned to tame it over the years, but I remember growing up, my dad used to be like, Tye, put some lotion on. Tye, if you don't put some lotion on, you look like a Dunkin' Donut.
So speaking of Providence specifically, and you being from Chad Brown,
Yeah.
what do you feel about the Providence music industry, specifically rap? How do you feel Providence is being represented in?
I feel like now it's definitely on the radar for sure. Like it's definitely on the map. Like people know about Rhode Island. Like it's not a secret at this point. As far as there being like just a stable or just like a magnitude of people just coming out of like Providence, Rhode Island, like that people are relatively known about as of yet, it's not quite there, but it's definitely like there's definitely something going on
Right.
in the scene that I'm a part of. That like there's some people that are like really finding themselves. There's some people over the years that I've grown to like be in the same scene and share the same stages with. They definitely like have got better. Like I could see that life has obviously happened to everyone. Like, but for the most part, those that are still in the race and still like definitely like trying to get better, like they're definitely like it's definitely showing and like they're figuring out how to do it for themselves. I think because we don't really have or never really had a platform like how like Atlanta or how New York or like LA or California has, and there being like like an economy, a financial economy where like there's an investment in the music scene where all the artists are being properly compensated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. There's becoming more people stepping up and becoming more willing to just showcase themselves elsewhere and just making sure that Providence is still being represented. So I'm proud of it.
So you just touched on something that I would like to talk about. So you were talking about receiving proper compensation
Mm-hmm.
and receiving it from your home state. So you have a label, Silent Reminder. Can you touch on that a little bit? How that was formulated, how you came to the idea, and you're signed to your label.
Mm.
And let's talk about that because that's huge.
Well, 2015, literally. 2015, I was praying to get to LA, and I had a mutual friend who knew someone at school that we were performing at, Brown University to be exact, and I met someone who was very intrigued with my presence. Music just means just everything. Like my boy Jordan, very just great-hearted dude. He happened to be graduating in LA and was just like, yo, you're coming with me. So I was like, wow. I was really praying to get to a place like Hollywood and I meet somebody right in my backyard, technically. And I met this man named Dan Murphy on the way to breakfast one time. I was with Jordan, and I met Dan Murphy while Jordan was like trying to get pet fish food like from that little shop on like Wicked or something. And I met this dude that works in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like loves music. You can just tell by how he dresses. Like he really is like indulged in the culture, like and just has a fun understanding of it. And he heard this song that I made at the time called Hidden Gems, and he was just like, dude, you got it. You just got something that's just there. And power of having great friends and just being pleasant and being kind, that shit be coming back tenfold.
For sure.
Because I went to LA, I did my thing. Fast forward to 2018. No, 2019. Fast forward to October of 2019. Man, it's 2015. A lot has happened. I remember when we met in
Yeah, I
2015.
know exactly what you're talking
There's a
about.
reason why I brought it up.
Yeah.
2019, Dan Murphy, at the same time as I am making this transition after going by Messy Tye as my stage name for over 10 years. And I'm thinking at this point in time at 25, 26, I'm thinking like, I think it's time to become me, like finally become myself. And I was like making that transition as far as making the name change right at the time when, you know, I had this sit down with Dan Murphy. And Dan Murphy is, you know, leaving the bank industry and becoming a record executive. And I remember fondly, prior to the name change, we sat down, and I don't remember sitting down. I remember just having a conversation on the phone, and we went through names of what to name this label, you know? And something about the name Silent Reminder stood up. And I gravitated to it just as much as Dan did, to where the real reason why this whole thing, Silent Reminder, is what it is. It's really a representation of those that are no longer here with us, that are our why, and reasons why we are who we are and what we're here to do.
It's beautiful.
So Silent Reminder is like, we're always protected.
Yeah.
You know? So I happen to have the pleasure to not only sign with Dan, but I had the pleasure of coming up with, along with him, the name of the record label and being the only artist on it. And as I'm, you know, becoming signed to this independent label, I changed my name from Messy Tye to Tye Cooper. And it was like kind of like shaving your head off after having braids and like a big ass fro.
Was there a reason like behind it?
Well, we just had a conversation of, you know, specifically like, let's say, you know, this brother being in a bank, and it was like, well, think about it. Can I really go into the bank to cash a check with the name Messy Tye? Or wouldn't it be like on point with everything that I could possibly do with my entire being? Walk into a bank and cash a check that says my first and last name. And it's who, like, it is who it is. Like, it's no, and when I thought of it, when I thought of it from that perspective, it was like, oh, this is it. And it didn't feel like I had to switch anything up. It was just the name change. The name change definitely was a very, like, I want to say a chapter in my life that was like, it started, like, that was like 2019, like I said, like, so that just started like when, like, the awakening. I call it that. It was really a nice awakening for sure.
Could you describe your rap style? Because, like you said, you're in your own name. Like, could you describe it a little for like someone who's never heard your music?
It's authentic. It's true to self. It's genuine. You consider it conscious. You know, it's fun. It's relatable.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
Very, very necessary.
Very conscious.
Very necessary.
Very necessary.
And I say that, you know, I say that very proudly because it took a long time to get to that place where I feel like, and even now I still feel like it's still like, I still got to keep, you know, getting up, and it's like damn near hitting the track and running. And just run, see how many minutes can you run in a mile type shit, like, but lyrically, like,
Right.
you know. And I feel like every time I amaze myself, I always damn near kiss the sky every time I write a new verse or write something down. And even if I don't have the entire thing, I'm very proud of like what I jotted down, because I know I'm not forcing it, and I know when I come back to it, it's always a piece of like my canvas that I'm like, I can add progress to, and there's no time limit on it, and getting to a place where I'm not in my own way, or I'm at least getting out of my own way at this point, because, you know, life imitates art imitates life,
Right.
and Messy Tye was imitating life for me. so I had to clean the mess that I was making up for the last 10 years. And yeah.
That's awesome to be able to have that kind of a perspective on that. And, you know, it is important. Your name is important.
Yeah, I was really paying homage with the name,
Right.
with someone that, based off someone that came before me and was doing something that I was not doing for myself, or didn't have the means to just do, like pick up a camera and record myself. And this man, Messi Maya, was doing that. And like, you know, before his untimely demise, it was like very inspiring and motivating to me, and something about, you know, his death and like what he left behind, and like the message I got from it was like, oh, I could really do this. And that's when I went by Messi Tye, and I fulfilled this character, like, and just, I always kept in the back of my mind, like, Tye, always be yourself. Like, you don't gotta copy this man, you ain't gotta copy anything that he did. If you're gonna call yourself Messi Tye, pay homage to Messi Maya, and make sure that people in New Orleans, because it's from New Orleans, make sure New Orleans understands that this is me paying homage. And I made sure. And I went by Messi Tye, and I was like, people don't know that. Why and like how. Like, people think, like, where does Messi Tye come from? And that's the real truth. Like, I went by Messi Tye because of this individual who was a comedian and a rapper who I found out that was, you know, shot and killed after he left his baby shower. And I was going through a similar situation at the time that it just was I was so drawn to it that, like, there were just so many, like, synchronicities and similarities that happened in my own life. And yeah, I really ran with the name Messi Tye, and I went around the world doing my thing. And 2019, I really felt like, you know, as a grown man becoming almost 30, I wanted to become me. It was really like more of like an embrace feeling. I remember there was like a feeling of me being embraced, for me being finally myself. And being finally myself, where it was like, I'm really going by my first and last name. And I even made sure to reach out to certain people to like make it clear, like, you know, the name change wasn't a, you know, a Heisman to like,
Right.
you know, paying homage. Like, I'm very aware of how where I'm at now. Because of where I'm at, I was being abbreviated as Messi Tye.
Right.
So I'm very, very aware of like how I got from where I started and how I got from where I'm at now and where I'm actually going. So
It's definitely got a different ring to it.
Yeah.
yeah, it feels so like,
Tye Cooper show.
it feels professional. It feels like the midnight talk show that I dream of having someday. I might as well just start it. I mean, I don't even know why I'm even thinking like it has to be on a broadcast or a broad, you know, network or something. But, you know, I definitely see myself with a you know, midnight talk show where I have, you know, a lot of interesting, like, powerful people, or people that are relatively known in the hip hop community and various other communities that people would find the information to be like, you know, impactful and beneficial and stuff. So,
I got a question for you. It's been a while, like, since I've been in like the music scene. I'm starting to get back in and trying to get back in the loop. I'm looking for artists. Like, who's some of the artists that you're listening to from Rhode Island?
I gotta throw my boy Nuke on there. Nuke Gaudy. My boy Guapstar Class, SE Class.
Yeah.
Who else? There's my boy Slitty. He's cool. I fuck with Slitty. I still listen to like Big Mucka,
Yeah.
King OSF.
Can't go wrong with that. You know.
From Pride. Flawless.
Yeah.
Listen to Flawless. I fuck with Flawless.
What do you think the Rhode Island music scene needs right now, like, to get us to the next level? Like, right now, you're in the industry, we could say, you know what I'm saying, for like.
Yeah, I would like to say that because I don't like that I'm gonna be honest. Like, there is one way to like call like someone like a local rapper, and I don't think like for me, I don't even think that's what I even consider myself. I've always felt like that, even when I was. But at this point, I don't even like that word. But people be throwing it sometimes, like local artists. I'm just like,
Yeah. Nah, hey, no,
we're,
definitely
we're home. We're home.
Right.
It's home base. Like, this would be considered local. Like, I get it. Like, but no, fuck out of here. This shit's international. This shit's out of here. Fuck, I'm on Saturn.
For real.
That's where I want to be anyway.
For real.
But,
The music gotta like, touch the masses.
you said what is missing?
Yeah, what's the Rhode Island music scene needing? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like where it's becoming more like we're now in a space where it's like you're no longer just a musician. If you're a musician, especially in this day and age, you are a multimedia person now. So you gotta create that shit yourself.
Right.
You can't just be rapping these days.
Right.
You better get the tap dancing on TikTok.
Everybody's rapping.
You better get the
Everybody got
TikTok.
on
You
there.
better get the TikTok and the Snapchatting. You better get on Threads. You better get on it all.
Right.
Better get on LinkedIn, Pinterest.
Yeah. Got the live TV threads coming soon.
Yeah, you might as well sign up too. There's a whole other community on there. You'll be surprised. I've been doing a whole bunch of interviews from Threads. But I feel like because it's becoming a media attention thing, like you have to like do the work yourself. So I think the more we do the work and continue to like, you know, I feel like I said, people are figuring themselves out. So like doing the work and like figuring out how to post it and being active on social media and actually creating a platform, not just for people that's based in Providence, but people that's all over the world.
Right.
And that's what's missing. Or that's what I feel like is actually, there are those contributing to that. But it's just a matter of time.
Right.
Social media has definitely changed the music industry in a way that has never been done before.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different, even from 2 years ago.
There's no excuses. If you really want to do it, you can do it. And if you don't feel like you have the time, wake up early. If you can't wake up early, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong.
Something.
So talking about the industry, like, can you talk about the Benny the Butcher feature?
Hell yeah.
Bro,
Shout out to Benny the Butcher, y'all. Black Soprano family. Buffalo, New York. Real spitters, real good dudes. Well, you know what I'm saying? Niggas have been through some shit. This is so dope. Like, I remember writing down a list of, like, you know, I remember having this conversation with Dan where it was like, yo, sky's the limit. Think about 10 rappers you want to make songs with. Don't even worry about it. So I wrote down all the people I had in mind. And on that list, Benny the Butcher was on there. And as well as Busted Rhymes. So it's so crazy. Well, no, it's not crazy. It's amazing how I was on this Cultivators Cup, which is this weed festival lineup to perform in Worcester at the Palladium. And it's a concert, a 2-day concert that's featuring Busta Rhymes and Benny the Butcher. How does this happen? No, it was actually Bone Thugs and Busta Rhymes and Benny the Butcher. How does this happen?
It's a crazy lineup.
It's a divine lineup, if you ask me.
It's insane.
It's too divine. It's so divine. Because I was actually trying to, you know, I had this beat. Shout out to A-Rap Music, producer from Rhode Island.
Nah, we know.
You know.
Yeah, shout out A-Rap.
I purchased two beats from A-Rap. And oh yeah. I still got this other one, but I love that. Yeah. I purchased 2 beats from A-Rap, and one of the beats I remember writing and I recorded in Hollywood, in California. When I went back there to shoot the video for The World Is Yours. Off that This Part of My Life is called. That's the project where the Benny the Butcher track's on. The track was originally for Busta Rhymes. Yeah, and then it just so happened that this concert, you know, this concert happens, and it's like Bone Thugs, Busta Rhymes, and then the second day it's Benny the Butcher and Convict Machine. And I'm just like, and I'm asked to perform before Busta and Bone Thugs. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is the perfect opportunity for me to get Busta Rhymes to be on this fucking song. Because the entire time I'm sitting here like talking to like what you would call it, my PR person, you know, how can we get in touch with Busta Rhymes? And it's like, hit him up on Instagram. I'm talking to him on Instagram. It's just all this kind of runaround shit. And it finally happens. Get in front of Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes, at that day and time, he just was not the happiest Busta Rhymes. For whatever reason. And it's okay. Because I've been there. And I could not have gotten the, you know, record I wanted with Busta Rhymes. But I didn't lose sleep of it. I was encouraged. I was encouraged to come back the next day with the Benny the Butcher and Conway show. And I stuck around long enough for my manager to find the actual manager of Benny the Butcher and Conway. And it just so happened to be like, Tye, you want to get in the studio with Benny the Butcher? Right now?
That's perfect. And he didn't give you no regular verse. That was a tough verse. So,
And you have it. That's how I felt. That's what it felt like. It really felt like fireworks. Fireworks went off because I had a show, a hosting at Ibiza. I had the Spider. No, well, I didn't have that. Somebody drove me up to the show in Worcester and the Spider thing, and I had a show at Ibiza. And I'm like, damn, I'm torn between hosting at Ibiza and getting on a song with Benny the Butcher. And mind you, I had no voice. My voice was shot. It was done for. And then I just so happened to have that song that I already recorded for Busta Rhymes. And I just put Benny the Butcher on it. And because I already recorded it, I had to just sit back and watch him write his verse. And it was amazing to see this man pick apart this beat and actually give me a beat that was worth the money that he wanted to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
And everybody in the room that's listening and that's there, they think I'm Nas.
you know, that's what I said.
I didn't say nothing. I was sitting there because I was such in awe that like this was happening. And I'm watching everybody like, yo, this is Nas. Yo, this gotta be Nas. They think Benny the Butcher was doing a feature for Nas. But I'm sitting there like this the entire time. And then somebody figured it out and was like, nah, that's him. Nah, that's him right there. I know it was you. And they all figured it out. It was like, yeah, that's him right there. And it was just like, yeah.
No, but you're able to have flows that people are not coming up with. The way that you put words together lyrically and sonically,
Yeah.
it invokes emotion.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I cry. I have moments where I listen to like certain things of my music or even music from the past and I just be like, damn, I said that? I really said that. And I meant that.
And the thing
And
is,
like,
you've
just
been
feel it
making
all.
this type of music for years. This is not something that is new.
Mhm.
You even so as a kid when you were in middle school, you were a part of Music One. So
Yep.
how did they help cultivate that creativity that was inside of you at that age?
Terrell Osborne. Shout out to Terrell Osborne.
Shout out to
He's a
Terrell
Ken.
Osborne.
He's a kin to Jeffrey Osborne. I believe that's his uncle. Terrell Osborne, Music One program, he challenged me. He challenged me like no other, but he was so cool about it. Because I didn't have to be a part of the program, but I was so drawn. I even seen like there was like these little channels on basic cable, like channel 13, 12, like the Providence channels. He had a slot on the Providence channel. And I used to watch that shit and I used to be like, I'm gonna be on Music One. I'm gonna be on Music One. I'm gonna be on Music One. And then 8th grade came. I was old enough and then motherfucking Terrell Osborne, I see Music One as an option. And I'm like, wow. Even then I understood. I was like, hell yeah. Now, this studio was in the top stairs of Davy Lopes Recreational Center. Shout out to Davy Lopes on the south side. You know what I'm saying? George Lindsay. fucking Music One was a program that Terrell Osborne was running that was very strict on, I feel like, gospel, Christian, mostly no profanity. So when I say he challenged me as an 8th grader that felt very like confident even at the time in his writing, he challenged me to like make raps about being drug free. I still remember a verse that I written at Music One, that drug free song that he had me write. I remember writing so many positive songs that even my friends that are so much enthused at my ability were laughing at me for making positive rap music. But this man, Terrell Osborne, gave me the opportunity to perform at the West End Recreational Center in front of a whole fucking gymnasium full of people, performing these positive records. And I remember guiding everybody in a time that I'm like, how did I do such a thing? But I knew a lot of the people, so it was so easy to easily get them to be under whatever spell that I feel like I'm like getting even so better at, you know. But like it's very, very like, you know, contagious in such a very necessary manner. So he just challenged me to like become a rapper at some point in time in my life when I get older, that if I was called to like rap without having to curse, I wouldn't miss a step. So he helped me write music at a time without having to curse. And there's times I'd be writing verses that I don't even curse. And I'd be like,
that's definitely a lost art right now.
yo, it amazes me. I got a song that even on my last album, I think, The World Is Yours. The World Is Yours, I think. Not one curse word in the first word. I think there was only one. There's one of these songs I'm like, I did not say not one curse word. And I'm like, I didn't say no. And like, he just helped me become more of a professional rapper at some point.
Shout out to Music One.
Yeah.
Terrell Osborne has had such an impact in Providence.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, giving opportunities to underprivileged children that are not able to have access to these kinds of programs and these systems and all of this technology in order to be creative and really like hone in on that. I think to provide that is something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
It is something that is offered.
I'm honored. I am so honored to like look back at how it all came together, and that being a brother that was in my the root of like, you know, the root of everything. Like,
Right.
hell yeah.
Right. And it shows.
Yeah.
And it shows because
I feel like brothers like that are very proud of me. Very proud. And when he see me, like it's like, well done. Like you are a fine young man, and it's like, you really think so? For real? They need to do this more in the black community. You need to tell us this more. That's why black boys deserve to smile.
and that's why
That's a dope title.
it's perfect.
That's why.
When you read it, you just want to
Imagine
learn
you
more.
doing the right thing. You doing the right thing. You not selling. No disrespect. Niggas ain't selling drugs. My aunts always remind me, like, Ty, you and your brother Ty Neal, your brother, your cousins Ronnie Roderick, I'm proud of you niggas. I'm proud of you niggas because you niggas ain't have to sell drugs. Right? You niggas ain't have to shoot off no guns. You niggas ain't have to be out here dogging women and doing all this weird shit. You ain't, like, you guys just been y'all. And that's just like, that shit really means something. I'm like, that's, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud. You know what I'm saying? My dad didn't have to be in the same household. I thought, you know, growing up, you had to have that traditional feel. I'm watching Boy Meets World and all this shit. Then you had to be like that. Nah. But I'm very thankful. Super thankful.
You know, something that I want to ask you is a little off topic, but there's a Rhode Island artist that I've seen you post like pictures with him, J. Lou.
Yes.
Yeah, what's up with him, man?
J. Lou. He be over there at AS 220 working with the youth.
Yeah.
And that's what I fuck with about J. Lou. Because he's still a young man, but he's young enough to still be around a crowd that he was already like pertaining to. Like he was like, I'm gonna be honest. not to be funny, but that nigga J. Lou, I think he's like 19, 20 now, but I feel like that nigga been like 16, 17 for like 4 years. That nigga be like the same age. You don't age. He looks the same.
Yeah.
It's my nigga, but he be over there with the youth at AS220. I actually did a pop-up performance for the youth at AS220 last month, and he was a part of it. And yeah, he's still active. He's still, you know,
That's what's up, man.
he's still moving and grooving. He's another one of like he's a staple too.
Right.
I believe like the world just hasn't heard of J. Lou, the J. Lou that we know, and they will, and it's just a matter of time again. So
That's what's up.
yeah, I fuck with you.
So throughout your career, because you started your career very young, and social media is definitely a part of like our generation. We grew up on social media, and you've been able to steer clear of any kind of controversy, any kind of negative press, and very often in our city, there's a lot of that. So how have you been able to navigate that? What is some advice for up and coming artists in areas such as ours?
I think I grew up in an era where like when you got in trouble, you wasn't publicizing it. When you got in trouble or when you got an ass whooping, like you just took the ass whooping. You learned. Maybe you had to get an ass whooping again. You'll learn from that too. But maybe not enough. Still have to get your ass whooped. But my point is, not being able, so again, like not publicizing when things are going wrong. There's this one experience that I've experienced that is so memorable in the beginning of my career that like, or just journey as a man, as an artist, where like me not talking about it and publicizing it in a manner where like the entire city and community is looking at me as the guy that's disgruntled about this, that, and the third. And whether I feel like I'm in the right, I feel like I've managed to take whatever occurs behind the scenes or in plain sight and take it as like once something happens, especially in this day and age, when people hear about it or become aware, they're going to form their own speculation and perspective of it. So it's no point in trying to fight fire with fire. So I've learned to just like not publicize my mishaps or things that are negative to me, or even sharing negative thoughts online. Like I've seen so many people post on Facebook just negative ass thoughts that would have nothing to do with their music, nothing to do with their brand, nothing to do with anything. Just expressing like, and why, you know, you got to vent, but there's so many ways to vent. I got journals. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like I got thread. Like there's so many things. Shout out threads. Like there's so many things that I feel like I can vent to. I don't have to go on Facebook and express my disdain for things or people. And the way I just managed to do that was just by not doing it. So I would say, like, as far as advice, like I would recommend, you know, when you have something to say, like don't get on social media and express it to people, because anytime you feel the urge to want to take something down after you said it, like that goes to show through your essence that like you really shouldn't be saying that to begin with. So yeah, I've just always like, you know, I don't want to know. I don't want to be in season 3 of your business. Like I'm watching everything unfold. I know the season. I know all the motherfucking the cliffhangers and the climax. Like, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's just, you know, and if anything, I can tell that story. I can tell that story through the music.
Right.
I just learned to tell the stories through the music.
It's almost poetic how you put together songs. So what kind of books are you reading? Because you are very well learned. I can understand that through Just even if I've only ever listened to this album,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell.
I like. I'm reading right now Atomic Habits. The Four Agreements is this one book that I really resonate with. Robert Greene's Mastery. I keep going back to like 48 Laws of Power and the Art of War and the Art of Seduction and shit like that. But as of late, I've been I went through the Four Agreements and I've been studying that. Motherfucker. Wow. Four Agreements and the Atomic Habits. So yeah, I'm reading that right now.
So you are very authentically hip hop, in my opinion. When I listen to your music, it feels very old school. It feels very nostalgic, like I've heard it before.
Right.
And I know I haven't.
Right.
Because it just dropped.
Right.
But you've been getting a lot of references to Nas.
Yeah.
And
I love that, which is cool.
Your style and how you're able to formulate your verses.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel to get that kind of recognition and comparison? Because that's huge.
It's a compliment. My dad.
And it's true. It's true.
My dad, I remember, at the time stamp, like 2017, 2016 maybe. No, 2014. I remember in 2014, my dad was like on some real trap shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I used to come through. My dad even bought the studio equipment for it at the trap that he was at. And like, he was just rapping, like that. But my dad used to hear my music. He might be of Nas. Might be of Nas and Kanye. He's a get Talib Kweli and them niggas. And I'm just like, Mos Def. He's like, yeah. So like, I just grew up listening to those guys. And I'm like, I've just learned how to like be, I've always had rhythm. Like I always felt like I've had rhythm. I just knew that once I get to a point where I could be rhythmic with my words, and like we was talking about that Tetris shit behind the scenes, like once I can, remember how like in Tetris it's falling down, and it's so much time you have to turn it and to figure out if you want to go to the side or go straight to the side, but you have to go down at some point. So like I'm learning, it's almost like holding your breath. Like I'm learning how to like really utilize that time before I get to where I need to place the block at. And like you could do that. You don't always have to be on beat necessarily to do it. You can slide all the way down, but I can just compare it to Tetris because it's like as it's falling, you could literally change it in so many different directions. And that's the flow. You can do all of that shit before you reach the ground. And like once I reach the ground, it's like it's impactful. It's impactful, my friend. Literally, it's impactful every time, and that's I'm thankful for that. I know it's something from above. I'm very thankful for that song.
So, what's this latest music video you recorded?
Oh, I shot a video off the album to Wine and Cheese.
Ain't no shame, it's alright. All we get is one life. All the shade, where's the light? We done been in the darkness for way too. Ain't no shame, it's alright. All we get is one life. All the shade, where's the light? Give me a second to gather my thoughts.
Yeah. Wine and Cheese, All Black Boys Deserve to Smile. It's coming very soon. Very soon. Yeah, Wine and Cheese, which this is really dope, by the way. I'm sorry, I usually be busting down the crackers, but give me a second. I'm gonna get there. But Wine and Cheese off of Black Boys Deserve to Smile. That's the record I was talking about, paying homage to Q-Tip and my auntie Nadia. Shot the video with my boy Tevin DiCaprio. Yeah, my boy Tev. over there, verified and shit. Yeah. You know, it was a unique experience of its own. My boy Tev, who shoots visuals, he has individuals or good friends in the filming industry who are, you know, they got access to certain kinds of cameras. And this brother Wally, shout out to Wally, very great man. He was very cool, like, you know, like really good, dope energy, and just mad accommodating. He made it feel very just regular. Like, you know, he does actual like award shows with this jib operator, which is the camera that's like a crane with a camera attached to it that, you know, moves and can extend at different like areas of the room or wherever it's at. And it took mad long. Like, it took mad long for him to set that shit up. It took mad long for him to break it down. It took mad long to set it back up at the next location. And it was a lot of like, you know, I stood up the night before. So like I was so anxious. I stood up the night before playing Call of Duty until like, you know, I shoot the first shoot or location was like at 8 o'clock in the morning at the boiler room area. And I was like already up. I had my outfits already, like, you know what I'm saying? I had to like my white chucks, I had to like throw them in the washing machine and make sure they were super white. And then like, because I was wearing an all white suit and stuff. And, you know, solid reminder, we rented out Bohm's Theater on Broad Street. And we invited the public to be dolled up and pretty much shoot the visual for Wine and Cheese with the special effects of having like a chip operator involved. And
That's awesome.
yeah,
I'm excited to see.
it's gonna be dope.
When can we expect that video? What do you think?
Oh, very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. You won't be waiting too long. But I got a show on July 13th at True.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. So maybe we could like drop it on the day of that show.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thinking I'm yes.
You gotta think ahead.
Yeah, I think that would be dope. I'm saying it here now, so by the time you hear it, it should be out soon.
Shit might even pop out that day. Shoot.
Yeah, pop out. I got True booked. It's on a Thursday, July 13th. I have enough time to even put together a band, perhaps. Because that's usually what I like to do at the Troop shows that I be doing. I have to have a little live band vibrations.
We love a band.
We need some.
We love genre.
We need a live band. So yeah, my live band performance is nothing to fuck with. And yeah, I'll bring my brother. Shout out to Joel Robinson and my boy Big Walt on the keys. And might even have like my boy Seth on bass. You know, don't do it. Like, please don't. But July 13th, we'll be live at Troop, and come experience the greatest show in town.
And for anyone watching, like, where can they find your music? Like, where's the best place to consume your music? You
can consume my music on every digital streaming platform and every platform that happens to involve music. The Tye Cooper Show on every platform. Whether you spell it out that way, you're still going to find me. Please don't spell it with just T-Y because you won't be, well, you still find it, but that's not how you spell it. But it's T-Y-E, Tye Cooper, the Tye Cooper Show. The greatest show in town, wherever it's at. And it's available everywhere. Like, it's on all digital streaming platforms. Black Boys Deserve to Smile, the album as well, that I just recently put out. It's available everywhere. So, listen, like, stream. Go, I don't know, do what you do. But you gotta at least tap in, at least.
It's an awesome album. Definitely worth the listen.
Mm-hmm. I honestly am very proud of, like, the latest body of work. I know for a fact that I took my time. I took my time with that shit and got to a place where, like, I can really honestly say that this latest project is something that I know that will stand the test of time, regardless of how much time goes by. And I'm gonna go. I'm loving this map right here because I was looking at it this whole time and I'm like, I'm definitely going to Jamaica. I'm definitely going to Saudi Arabia. I'm definitely going to Bangkok. I'm going everywhere. And we're gonna do everything. I'm doing the whole Tye Cooper show. I'm taking the show on the road. And don't be surprised.
Do that too.
I'm taking the show. I'm going everywhere. Turkey. Going. You're gonna have to meet me there. No. You're gonna have to beat me there. Because you won't meet me there. You're definitely not meet me there.
Yeah, man. Rebel TV, Monanita, Tye Cooper.
Thank you for having me.
Always, man. Always a pleasure.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have some crackers now.
Hell yeah.
Even though
I've been looking at these.
They're amazing charcuterie board out there together. Grapes.
Yeah, man. Look out for that album, man. Signing out, Rebel TV.
Ain't no shame, it's alright. All we get is one life. All the shade, where's the light? We done been in the darkness for way too. Ain't no shame, it's alright. All we get is one life. All the shade, where's the light? Give me a second to gather my thoughts.